Hello everyone and welcome back to the Shipyards. I'm Commander Exorcist. Welcome to another episode of the After Action Report. This is my weekly show where I go over the news and happenings in the Space Engineers universe. Before we get started, if you enjoy the content I create on this channel, then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure that notifications are turned on so that you don't miss any of my Space Engineers content. Let's see what's going on out there. There was no Friday developer stream last week or SE2 block drops due to the release of VS 1.5 for SE2 and the live stream on Monday to celebrate that milestone. In addition, Keen announced early in the week that there would be no drops this week for SE2 and that the next expected update other than alpha hotfixes would be the week of 12 July 2025. The window for Fieldwork Bunker Competition entries closed at 23:59 UTC+1 on Monday, and a 2-week period of evaluation and judging begins at Keen HQ. I couldn't help but notice a growing number of bunkers on Mod.io and the Steam Workshop in the final days running up to the end of the competition. I hope that my trailer in some ways inspired a few engineers to get out there and build something amazing. From what I can tell, the competition is fierce, so whatever entries win will certainly deserve it. On Monday, Keen released a brief YouTube video exploring an often underappreciated feature of the SE2 development cycle, sound design. The 3-minute expose shuts down the music and turns the sound effects in SE2 up to 11. The distant echoes of ancient astronauts and rhythmic hums of technological wizardry resonate through darkened hallways and desolate space stations. It's quite a unique experience that, honestly, I hadn't noticed in SE2 until now. I'll admit that as a longtime fan of space simulator games, sound design is something that I personally have come to appreciate on a whole new level. Space Engineers isn't alone in its exceptional sound and music design for the genre, but that in no way diminishes the amazing work accomplished by Keen's audio engineers. While the soothing sounds of an oxygen generator pumping out atmosphere or an antenna receiving messages from long-forgotten civilizations might often get lost in the background of building massive combat ships, it's these minor details that tend to bring out the truly immersive experience of games like SE2. And the best part is that we're just getting started. You'll find a link to the audio expose in the description below. Now, something spoilery this way comes, so if you're not interested in learning some very specific details about the upcoming game loop on planets, then there will be a link in the description below to skip to the end of the video. But why would you want to do that? Are you ready? Here we go. In his weekly dev diary, Keen CEO Marek Rosa continued to shed light on the upcoming colonization meta loop as part of the planetary and survival experience. This week, he spoke about a feature called the First-Time User Experience, which is still in the early prototype stage. With the FTUE, the player spawns on a planet with a GPS marker, leading them to a cave. The player needs to dig out the entrance and will find a small ship with some missing components. Following discovery of the ship, the player is then provided with a series of tasks that introduce them to the critical features of the game. These tasks include mining ore within the cave and using the backpack and projection building to weld the missing pieces, locating batteries and installing them to power the ship, and widening the cave entrance to safely fly the ship to a nearby abandoned mountaintop station. Continuation of this introductory mission will require the player to be resourceful with the blocks they already have, such as recognizing the need to remove key components from their ship to power up the space station to advance the story. The current plan is to build a 1 to 2 hour introductory mission using HUD-based objectives and GPS markers to guide the player through a basic task set that would begin in the cave and end at an orbital space station. Marek and other members of the team discussed the philosophy behind features like the FTUE earlier in the year, and as I previously mentioned, Space Engineers has a high difficulty barrier for entry. The complexity of its various systems combined with their unique interoperability can be off-putting for new players. The FTUE and similar initiatives in SE2 aim to reduce that barrier by giving players a guided tour of the game's basic features so that they are not entirely reliant on the Space Engineers wiki or YouTube guides. Although, for obviously biased reasons, I still want players coming to YouTube for tips, tricks, and memes. Seriously, subscribe, people. He closes out the blog with a refreshing statement in the era of PR speak and hyperbole for upcoming games. The feature is functional, but the team believes that it currently lacks a wow factor, which is something they continue to work on. Have you picked up the new modding kit? And are you building the next killer block or module in SE2? And what do you think of scripted missions and guided tutorials making their way into SC2? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll be back next week with more Space Engineers. Until then, I'm Commander Exorcist. Take care, fly safe, and I will see you out there.